Yo, it's me here again, and it's Lotus Paradise Breakout. Yeah, it's the usual. You know the drill. Yeah, scam. Yeah, you go do it by yourself. I want no participation in your scam, mister. I'm watching you. Oh, bell pepper. Alright, macaron. I mean, an epic buff like this isn't half bad, I suppose, but I would still prefer the blue one, which gives you, what do you call it again? Fire blast jellies. Somehow I think that one's more useful. I mean, I guess it really depends on your luck, I suppose. And higher up the chain you go of tiered buffs or everything, the less luck based it is. You know, it reminds me of that time when they just started having random breakout, and then after the devs were just experimenting with the chances of getting bonus time with buff. It was about, I think, 0.5% in Millennial 3, and then after that was Yogurka. They made it 0.1%, which is, yeah, obviously it just became practically useless. Like nobody wanted it, nobody used it. So instead of wizards, they tried something else, and they gave it what, 1%, I think, 1% chance. But because they gave it 1% chance, now it's in the meta, you know, like 0.5% chance out of 100, or somehow it's like the best middle ground you could get for this kind of thing. I mean, because 1%, okay, let's just say we take it like this, okay, you know, for legendary buffs, right, I think you need to destroy 120 obstacles to get what do you call it again? Yes, to get one bonus time. But you see, with this epic buff, you technically, the probability of getting a bonus time is actually 1 out of 100. So that's pretty less than a legendary buff. It just doesn't make sense. Not sure if the devs realized it or not, but they did change it. So now the bonus time is just eternally at 0.5%. Not that bad, I suppose. But it's not particularly helpful either. No, what? Huh? Okay, I think they misclicked. Sure, Moonlight. I mean, she has pretty good buff. Destruction buffs are always welcomed in this area. You know. Always welcome a good destruction-based type cookie. I'm kidding. Hey, I need that magnetic jelly. Let's go back and get it again. Alright. I'm recording this on the 3rd of January 2023. Yeah. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions? I mean, I don't really have any, I suppose. You know, there's sometimes where you're in like a team or whatever, and then people ask you to have this bunch of questions together, kind of bonding exercise. And I remember one where it said, what are your hopes and dreams for 2023? And then I just realized, and I thought about it, actually it's not that I don't have any, but I don't have any that feels legitimate, you know? Like, for what it is, I just want to get through the year. I mean, I don't even know if I'll make it past this year, honestly. Now I might get hit by a truck or something, you know, it's always an option. But it's like, I don't know, man. Oh, this is a pain to think about, you know? It's like, yeah, there are things I want to do, there's an ideal I want to strive forward to, but at the same time, I can't realistically see it as a New Year's resolution, you know? If you get what I mean. I don't know, it's hard to understand even for myself, man. Oh, I just fumble over my words so much. Huh? Just awkward. I mean, I'm actually like pretty, how do you call it, nervous around new people in the sun. Or like people I'm just not comfortable with, you know? I mean, if you get me like really passionate and stoked about something, of course I'll just go crazy and start screaming my lungs down, or everything, you know? It's just going full like shit on the walls, kind of crazy. But like, if you don't do that, and if I'm usually just in like normal mood, then I'm usually actually pretty, how do you call it, reserved. It's not that I don't want to talk to people, but it's more like I'm just nervous. Like, I've had bad experiences, mate. Bad. You have one and it hates the rest for the rest of your life. I mean, it's nothing too bad or anything. You know, it's when you're a kid, it's like teenagers have the most fragile egos ever. And as a teenager, I mean, it's not like my self-esteem right now is in completely like trash. But, you know, it's not as bad as it was back then. Like, God, man. You know, like, you say you think teenagers are like that cliche of, what do you call it again? Always going out and getting drunk or whatever. And doing like weird illegal stuff. And it's like, really? I think a lot of teenagers, because they're also going through that prepubescent period. No. Was it prepubescent or pubescent? I cannot remember. So, well, I mean, they're going through pretty shaky periods, so I think it's normal for them to have serious issues, you know. I mean, they're discovering who they're growing to, you know, and it's seriously awkward for them to grow into their new bodies or whatever. I mean, it's that same thing when you're like about 12 or 13 years old. It's like it's just when you're starting to realize you are growing up, you know, that you're becoming a teenager. And as a teenager, I don't really think that as a teenager, teenagers are weird, honestly. I don't know how to deal with them. But then I don't know how to deal with anybody, so there's that too. Oh, 16th place. That's quite good. But I mean, the best way to deal with people like that is just, you know, I mean, treat them with delicacy. I mean, actually, you know what, just treat most people with delicacy. It's one of those things like you should always strive to do, you know. It's like, just be tactful, I guess. I mean, it's a bit hard, you know. I mean, I understand too. Like, I am a very brutish sort of person, you know. I just say whatever I want and I don't care about it. Which is not great. Yeah. Oi. No. I want bonus time back. Okay. So anyways, I tend to be a very crude kind of person, you know. Half the time I'm in a conversation, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And it's like, it doesn't help that my hearing is also kind of fact, because I don't understand what people are saying half the time. And I'm pretty sure it's not their fault, it's just like, I've always had this issue with my ears. I just don't know, I just can't listen, you know, properly. And it's just embarrassing, you know, you have to ask people to repeat stuff 4 times over. And I mean, it's pretty annoying and awkward, to be honest. But it's one of those things that just happens, huh? Well, I mean, I can't imagine that it really gets any easier being, actually at any age, honestly. I mean, just because you're like 80 years old doesn't mean you still can't get social anxiety in front of someone. I mean, you know, it's like, people are like that, you know, human nature is like, I mean, it doesn't really care how long you've lived or how mature you're supposed to be. You know, sometimes the emotions just take over and there we go, disaster happens. That reminds me of this funny thing. I'm not sure if you guys know of the manosphere, but basically it's this thing on YouTube. It's mostly a bunch of guys and young impressionable boys, teenage boys getting together and, how do you call it again? Getting duped by a bunch of swindlers into thinking there's a right version of masculinity and portraying a toxic version onto everybody else, being all hateful and misogynistic, that kind of thing. I just don't know, I find it fun because like, one of the things they talk about is soy boy, which soy boy basically implies that someone is being, well, feminine or ladylike, or they're you know, a pussy, you know, like not brave, like weak, scared, timid, like a woman, which has their own bad implications in their own way, I suppose. But no, that's not the time to talk about that right now. So basically, soy boy is because how do you call it again? Yes. There are these hormones called estrogen in, well, soy milk, soybeans, that kind of thing. And you know, because testosterone is more likely assumed to be with men, whereas no. Okay, never mind. Okay, so anyways, so testosterone is more used to be associated with men and manliness and having a beard and whatever, that kind of thing, and being muscly and all. Whereas estrogen is more for like women, yeah. But I think what's really interesting is that actually this is all based on a misconception. It's actually, while there is technically estrogen in soy milk, it isn't the estrogen that typical people think about, It's a different type of estrogen, the sort that works with like sheep, cows, herbivores, mammals, that kind, not mammals, but oh dear. But that kind of thing, if you get what I'm saying. It's just basically a different type of animal estrogen. It actually doesn't even have any effect on normal human estrogen levels at all. It's just something that sounds like it has the name estrogen in it, but it's not actually estrogen, and it doesn't have any of the properties of the human estrogen. Oh, I mean, there's a few good videos about this online. You can just go look them up. I'd recommend H Bomber's video. I have no idea, I can't remember which one, but I just find it funny, Yeah, I mean, I suppose misogyny isn't funny and all that stuff, but I mean, it feels bad. It's like when you see people like running in circles around a misconception, and then you want to correct them, but then they're being dicks about it, and they don't want to listen to you, and then you kind of just let them make a fool of themselves. You kind of feel bad about it, but you also kind of feel some kind of sajan through there, or whatever, however you pronounce that word, because they're just making fools of themselves, and it's kind of because of their fault. It's not like you didn't like try to warn them or anything. It's probably a bad thing. Oh, I'm a bad person. Oh, this is why I have no friends. Jeez. Whatever. Now let's talk about something more recent, I suppose. This cookie here, Mr. Wizard. Harry Potter? I used to read its stuff when I was young. I think I was about 11 or 12. I can't remember. When I first started reading the series, I read through all of them. Actually, no. I read them quite a long time before. Cause like my parents didn't allow, phones and electronics and everything. So, I had no choice but to just rely on reading books all the time to actually get anything well done in terms of my boredom. Just great, honestly. So it's like after a while, when I got a little bit older, and then I heard all that stuff about J.K. Rowling being just horrible, okay? J.K. Rowling's the author of the Harry Potter series, so it's just so bad. It feels bad, like people say, it's like, you don't connect art to the artist. There's like a disconnect or whatever, The art doesn't portray the artist and vice versa. But at the same time, it's like, you just can't help but remember, is that really true? If I, watch like a Harry Potter movie, for example, if I buy a Harry Potter book, doesn't that mean I'm like kind of indirectly supporting this artist's belief? Even though while I personally may not agree with it and personally say I don't like it, I am still supporting her by financial means, and royalties, which is it's a bit hard to think about it, yeah, because it's like, I think it's a misconception that, bad people, or say, just people who are the type to be kind of, how do you call it, very mean. It's the kindest way I can put it right now. People who tend to be very mean and, a bit dense when it comes to other people, It's like, I think it's a misconception that people like that can't make good art. Like, people like that can, I don't think talent really distinguishes between, your moral standpoints or moral imperatives or anything. Talent is just a talent, a gift is just a gift. I mean, if I had to give a famous example, it'd probably be like Donald Trump did, I mean, he's a good comedian, he's a good speaker. He knows how to sway people to his side and to make people think that the outlandish thing he's saying is actually, all part of a joke, to get him to be more relatable to his audience. So I just think that, I mean, it's also quite a misconception of my own. I also have my own bias about this kind of thing, I suppose. Maybe it comes from reading a lot of stories where the bad person is always like taking the fruits of other people's efforts. And it's like, sure, bad people do that, I suppose, but it's also not untrue to say that bad people can't have their own virtues of their own. They can't have their own talents or gifts that are treasured or prioritized by society, And I guess it's just misconception I just gained over the years. It's like there's always this sort of thing about people stealing other people's like projects and handing them in and that sort of thing, and that's just really common to me. Those are the stories I remember. Like when we talk about bad people, we don't usually talk about the good and the talents they have because, well, bad people, you're not supposed to be a bad person. You're not supposed to associate anything good with someone that's bad like that. Which is why I guess it's led to this mindset of me. I suppose maybe I also have an implicit trust towards more, how do you call it, talented people. Perhaps? I don't know. I'm actually really not sure. But I do admire those people who can really, how do you call it, work hard. Admire them. All geniuses, who doesn't care whether you love art or not? It's like things just happen. Geniuses get born. It's also a matter of luck. If Einstein had been born as a caveman, would he have ever really been the Einstein we know of today? It's sort of the kind of thing. You could say it's all fated, and you can say it's just, chance, and every route we take through life is determined by our own actions, but it's like, to some degree, there's a bit of luck in everything, Like, even if you're one of those people who believe that, you can shape your future, yeah? And I have no idea where I'm going with this conversation right now. Okay, so what was I trying to say here? I have no idea. Well, I guess the point is that, don't underestimate people, I suppose. Don't think lesser of people because they are, how do you call it? Because you have this arrogance of being morally superior. It's like how those people who shell out misinformation and whatever. I'm pretty sure it's not like these people don't know that they are shelling out misinformation. They're obviously very smart in the way that they use their marketing tactics or the way they convince people to believe this stuff. They're obviously very smart and cunning. And you cannot deny them that. It's like one of those things, it's like you make the enemy seem so impossibly strong, so smart, so cunning, and so stealthy. At the same time, they're also so impossibly weak. They're so bad at doing anything. They're evil and they always steal stuff from other people. And they're always copycats. I guess it's just, a dichotomy between these two states. And it's not hard to believe, to have a truly, how do you call it, grounded standpoint on something is pretty hard to do, honestly, if you think about it. Like, I did say, murder's bad, don't do it, but when I see some like horrible case of some dude just getting away with no justice and whatever, it's like, at that time, my feelings towards murder and how it would apply to this one specific situation also differs. So it's really situational. So you can get a general sense of someone's like motives and beliefs, but really can't exactly just assume everything just from one general viewpoint they have, Oh, let's try again. I don't like to hit myself. And yeah, I guess that's it. I have no idea where I'm going with this conversation. Well, let's talk about something on the screen now. Maybe Blue Lily or her Mantis pet. Mantis pet, that reminds me of Red Run. Red Run is a permanent mall now. It's bad. It's sad. It's kind of disappointing. And the worst thing about them is the red chest. Man. It's just a real bummer. You wait for 48 hours and then you get like 100 magic powder off a chest. You don't even get any DSC anymore because they replaced the rates for those with like the yellow skill gems for Red Run. Oh, just amazing, isn't it? Microtransactions will take over the world, I tell you. I see. Now, Let's have someone. I can go a bit further. Maybe this guy. Alright, then Mr. Kiwi. I want speed and distance, like I've told you before. It's our priority here. To get to the 7th stage and get the ball from Bellflower. Oof. There we go. Reminds me, Kiwi has this like driving license thing. I'm not sure if the devs like renewed it. It's kind of like just a little kind of law thing, but Kiwi has this driving license for his motorcycle, and it actually expired like last year on December 31st. So there's that. I don't know whether it's been renewed yet, but I remember seeing a lot of people just talking about it. And one thing, like the devs to make some sort of announcement about it at least. I've had to talk about motorcycles and cars. I mean, I wouldn't trust myself with a vehicle, to be honest. I wouldn't trust myself with anything, to be fair, but like a car, like no way, man. My attention span is just not gonna happen. Like accidents will definitely happen, I'm telling you as much. You know, I mean, it's so dude like get distracted seeing like some old lady on the side of the road just buying stuff, and like I'll crash the car into a sidewalk. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm this short either, so I probably can't even see over the front seat, so there's that. It's just a pain being short, yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm one of those people that wants to be so tall or anything. I just want to be tall enough that I can reach stuff on shelves without having to ask other people to help me. Like, being short is the worst thing, especially if you have like social anxiety and then you're in a store and you can't reach the thing you're asking for, and then you see that the shopkeeper or the shop assistant is busy with someone else, but then like you don't want to disturb them, but at the same time you really want to get this thing, so you just end up waiting there for 15 minutes, and then after a while you just give up, you just leave the shop. Yeah, sounds really complicated, doesn't it? But that's just how it is, man. Anxiety just doesn't allow you any time to rest, huh? Or I mean, you know, just normally it's also a pain just doing stuff if it's short. You can't see over a lot of typical things other people can, you know? Like, I'm not talking about the cliche of like the how do you call it, the concert moviegoer, you know, stuff behind all of that's something you should do, I suppose. Or it's like you just can't see anything at all, you know? Cannot see anything. Like, you might have the best eyesight in the world, but it's not gonna matter if you're being blocked by some super tall woman in front, you know, with a bun and everything. 1, 2, there we go. That should be enough. I just wanted speed anyways, not too much on the score. Yeah, it's a mystery Bellflower, you'll never know. Oh, this is interesting. I could use this. This is very good in this area because a lot of bear jellies. The buff is not really, but this treasure though. Let's try. Let's take a risk here. Anyway, sugar glass isn't that bad, so I hope I'm not risking too much here. But because there are so many bear jellies in this area, you know, it's be kinda really great. Of course, Kumiho will be pretty good in this area too, but you know, treasures also work as well, yeah? Reminds me, cookie of the year. Sugar glass got pretty close, to be honest. I mean, for an old cookie, she's surprisingly popular. TK is TK, you know, like she's always gonna win, and it's not much you can do about it. Whereas, for something like, say, sugar glass, it's actually pretty unexpected. Most of the others are either legendary or just like really new cookies, you know, stuff that was done in 2022. Like, man, I remember when, what was it again, 5th or 4th anniversary, should be 5th anniversary update came out. Like, a boy, actually it wasn't perfect, it was pretty grindy. The score requirements for getting to the last maze mission kinda sucked and locked all the low level players out of it. And then you could also like just cheat the system with the whole, how do you call it, the whole using emulators and a computer thing to just Cheese the level with pancake skill, all that stuff. But it was good, I mean, it was quite a lot of content. We actually had sizable rewards at the very least. The story is, I don't know, man. I would say the good thing about the story would probably be only about, I would say maybe it talks positivity, but I think it's kind of sweet that whether bad memories or good ones or sour, like Sugar Glass, treasures them all the same, because they're all a part of like her experience. Whereas Amber Sugar is the one that wants everything to be extremely pretty and to the point, One, two, okay. Because Amber Sugar is pretty like focused on beauty. He doesn't want anything that stains the glass or the memories. So bright, happy memories are the best thing you can have. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool, when like the Cookie Run stories have like just little bits of characters and like little quirks that just makes it interesting, I suppose. Like you really can't say much for the rest of the stories or anything. I mean, I'm still not happy about the whole skater just not existing in the timeline anymore because he's canonically like dead or something. So there's that. Because you see, it's like with the new timeline, the compass and everything, there's two diverging timelines. And in the second timeline of the compass, Ginger Brave never met Skater, so Skater Cookie technically does not exist. He basically got shafted out his whole operation. Anyways. But then they didn't even change the relationship charts. So apparently Ginger Brave still knows Skater even though he has never met him in his lifetime at all. Which is interesting to say the least. I mean, timelines can be a pretty... I like time loop stories, honestly. I have no idea how to do them, but like I love time loop stories. Ones where it's like the protagonist is, stuck in the time loop, and then they get super depressed and everything, and then they're given like this super impossible mission like save the world, or the world always ends in 10 days or so, but then the protagonist keeps dying at the end of that 10 days and then has to reset back to the beginning. I just really like that kind of stuff. It's just my type, I mean, I haven't read that kind of story in a long time, in quite a few years already, since I've mostly been focusing on other stuff for now, so I've kind of been neglecting my searching and reading for stuff like that. I should probably go back and look for it some. Honestly, can't be bothered though right now. I am trying to finish my stuff, I suppose. I've told myself that I wouldn't like do certain things unless I finally finish my project, which is a pain. It's like I have hundreds of Google tabs open. I know it's not good and it's not healthy and I probably shouldn't be doing that, but I just can't. It's like every time I just do something, I just can't help it, Like I'll get interested in something else and be like, oh, this looks good. Oh, this looks interesting. I want to know what this means too. And then I pick it up, but then I forget about it a few moments later and I'm like, oh no, I'm curious what this means, but I'm afraid I'll forget it, so I'll just leave the Google tab open for now. And then tada, you have hundreds and hundreds of tabs open. I wouldn't be surprised if I have about like 1,000 now, honestly. And when I say that, I'm actually like not kidding, it's just a really bad problem. I mean, I've been trying to curb that, but by actively and just focusing on one thing and trying to finish it, but I mean, it's what do you call it? 30-30, 50-50 kind of thing, Sometimes it works, it sometimes doesn't. So, it really depends, on my willpower that day. Also my maths, No, lemon. Oh, no. Please, no, wait, no, I tapped on the accident. Please, no, stop it. Don't bring me to Shopee ads, please. Get me back. No. Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. No, Shopee. Oh. Well, this is interesting. I could either take, treasures. What's a mushroom, honestly? I mean, I know it'd probably be a better idea to take cauliflower and everything, but oh, come on. I was gonna rely on this treasure. The reason why mushroom was because of his shield, and I know I suck at this game. So I can bang into obstacles, but Oh well. Oh my god. His voice lines. I totally forgot. It's been so long. Yeah, I forgot about his voice lines. Oh, it's so weird. Especially with his little breaths. I mean, I don't find it like super irritating like some other people do, but I don't like it, to be honest. Okay, it doesn't mean that I dislike it, but I mean, it wouldn't bother me that much if he didn't have voice acting in here, to be honest. Yeah, shroomy party, Mr. Mushroom. My kid just takes mushrooms really, like no wonder he's so obsessed, brother. Could this be some deep metaphor for drug addiction? Sorry. Drug addiction. And how once you get caught in something, you'll never let it go. You convince all your friends to help you, but then your friends don't know how to. And so they just leave you be to your own devices. And then you spread drugs to everybody else. Dun, dun, dun. Like eggnog. And you poison him. Oh my god. Stop. Okay. I'm kidding, but that's funny to think about it though. It's not that deep, yeah, but it's fun. It's kind of like a version of looking at, like modern art, like just one blank canvas and going like, I see the passion of a lover's eyes in here, and how we have to nurture the preciousness and treasure human life, and how it took so long, but actually this blindness is what makes us human, because we are all one and the same, but different in this tones of red as is depicted here in this blank red painting or something. It's just weird. I think for art, asking the authors for their, for their intentions is good and all. Me personally, I'm the sort of person where I don't actually really like it if people ask me what is usually the intention behind something that I make. Like, say the poetry I make, for example. Like, I have my own meanings and I have my own reasons for writing what I write. But I also want other people to have their own interpretations. I don't want my own feelings and my own feel to spoil someone else's viewing experience. Like, I'm okay if you want to know why I said or did something in particular, but to just take it as an iron steel bar, to take it as something that's putting 100% has to be, I think that just really leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, I prefer art that has kinda open to interpretation, because I like to imagine. It's not like you the viewer can be me. I mean, no matter how much I explain to you or talk to you about my reasonings or me, you won't exactly become me. You won't know how I felt that time when I read something or I wrote something. And to chase after something impossible to attain like that, I think it's just a waste of time. I mean, you should also value your own opinion, yeah? I'm not saying that artist's opinion isn't important and that their vision isn't important, but I'm just saying that to take it as an iron concrete work and a rule when you are basing that art on something, and trying to judge it, it's probably not the most optimal way you could go around doing things, yeah? Poetry is... I think I still remember I have one unfinished one from last year. I don't know, man, I just make them when I feel like in the mood for it. I don't know what to do with them, so I just put them on online. Oh, did you hear that? If you heard that sound, I think that's just coming from outside. It's nothing big, honestly. Maybe construction? I'm not too sure. There has been quite a lot of that stuff going on recently. Last week it was just banging and noise all around the place. Super noisy, honestly. The worst time for these kind of things though, it was probably during the pandemic. It's like when everybody had to do Zoom calls, or you had to record certain things and upload them, and then you could just hear your neighbor just drilling in your apartment in the background. Always at the worst time in the afternoon. It sucks. HDBs are cool and all, but HDBs and inconvenient maintenance noises at the exact wrong time. I mean, they're basically the same thing, you know. Funny thing I tell you about, I can't actually remember if I got this super correct, but well, technically you can buy a house in my country for about what? Once you're 21 or something like that, I think. Or 18. I can't remember exactly. But what I do remember though is that you have this thing where it's basically if you're single, you can't exactly buy like a HDB house because you're single until you're like 35 years old. Buying like cheaper public housing like the HDBs reserved for couples and that kind of stuff. If you're single and you don't want to get married, you have to wait until you're 35 years old or something. Oh? Sure. Honestly, not bad, but I really want lemon. Lemon or snake fruit. I mean, snake fruit isn't half bad. Cherries are good, to be honest. Sure. And it's like, you just really rub it into people's faces that they're single. Not like being single is anything shameful or anything. I mean, but it's like, bro, you can't do this, man. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if like people just marry each other just for like the government benefits and getting to buy HDB earlier. I mean, I know that happens a lot also with people in my country. How do you call it? You're motivated to marry earlier and have kids. Move into a HDB house. I mean, we even have this thing called like a baby bonus from the government, where they basically like, incentivize you having babies and whatever. Because of like declining birth rate or something. I don't know, man. I guess I really don't know what to think about the declining birth rate, to be honest. It's like, in some ways it's good, in some ways it can be bad also. I mean, seeing how the world is going right now, I actually think that the declining birth rate will actually be the more, less troublesome thing to do. I mean, it's not like, it's like everybody's trying their best, I suppose, but the future looks pretty bleak as it is, It's to combat climate change. We don't just need like one or two countries to be like, I'm just gonna totally convert to electric vehicles and batteries or whatever. It's something that has to be done like globally. And not only that, climate change is something that also ties in with so many other problems too. There's also that whole thing with like lithium batteries in like electric vehicles and cars like that are being made by or being produced by some form of child labor. And it's like, you can't just have one bad thing in a vacuum, It's like, if you really want to solve such a big problem like climate change, you also have to deal with all these other issues first. Like, how are you going to stop people from, polluting the area if you don't give them like a better place to stay? If you don't give them the resources or place to throw their rubbish into, or like education or what their reckless usage could do, then it's like you won't be able to help it. Like, climate change is something that comes with so many different faces and problems and ways to tackle. That, well, as it says, it's for the climate. It's a climate, it's a global thing. You need everybody to kind of just chip in, not just one or two people. And I mean, there's just so much you can do. Like, yeah, I know that whole carbon footprint thing was manufactured by so and so in 2002, if I'm not wrong, but I mean, I think it's still important that we all do our part, but it doesn't erase the fact that no matter how you try to erase the carbon footprint, it's not going to stop you from, say, using public transport. It's not going to stop you from, say, taking a taxi or a car to work. It's like, all these polluting things are stuff that we use daily, so it's basically impossible to escape from them. You really can't use like the reason that you're also contributing to climate change, so like you're being like a hypocrite. But like, that's how everybody is, unless you just totally just run off into the woods and just don't do anything at all and just live on your own for the rest of your life. It's like unless you do something drastic like that, it's basically impossible to run away from partaking in this sort of thing. Because it's a structural thing, I mean, ever since the Industrial Revolution and all that stuff, it's not easy. Sometimes I see that stuff about all that in 1920s or whatever. What, like, the people of like 1920s and 30s and 40s thought that the 20s and 21st century would look like. They thought we would have flying cars, that we had some futuristic city, that we'd be in like space or something. But I mean, you're not wrong, we do have flying cars. It's just that they kind of suck, and flying cars are also pretty useless. So there's that. Like, I'm all for public transport. Flying cars are just dangerous, okay? Like, I don't want to be a whole doomer and gloomer and all, but look, mate, flying cars. You know how many road accidents we have already? And it's just from, like, people on the roads. Imagine if people could just, like, take flying cars and they could just, like, drive them into buildings, Imagine how much, like, damage it would cause. Oh, it's like, yeah, flying cars and whatever. I mean, it's nice to think about, but when you talk about practicality, it's really, you can't really see exact use for it, Unless, like, we find a better safe control and regulation for that kind of thing, Like an inbuilt holding that stops people from doing stuff like that and crashing into other people. Then I guess so, maybe, but I really don't know. I mean, it's not to say AI and whatever aren't good or anything. I think it's pretty good. There's that whole thing about AI art and whatever. And I think it's an interesting debate. I honestly think that AI art shouldn't be copyrighted. You really can't copyright it, It's not originally made if you can just put a seed into a computer and then get a computer to generate it and get the exact same picture. You can't copyright that seed, But I think the main problem with AI art is that people are trying to use AI art to cut out the work of to cut out the work of, the artist, the middleman, completely. I think what we should do here, instead of, just being like all forceful about it and be like, there's no more use for artists, AI is the best and whatever. It's like, I believe that we should, use these things and work in conjunction with each other. I think there's a lot of amazing things that can be done with AI art and artists, but that's only if you do that properly. Then there's that whole stuff about the copyrighted paintings and artworks, and how a lot of AI art is just based on stealing artworks, because it's not like AI can just create something like a human can. AI has to copy from something, and then based on its creator's machinations or its creator's codes or specifications, it's gonna have to make that thing more appealing, visually appealing, or workable. But to do that, you need something to base it off on, and in this case, that's the paid work of artists who put their stuff online. And then because AI arts AI, they just take it off the internet. They take like this commission work that other artists have done, and then they just basically copy and paste it into their own code, which is initial. And I think it's one of those problems that has always been super prevalent in the industries like that, Like the more creative industries, it's really hard to say what's copyrighted and what's not copyrighted. Like half the time, like people do things and nobody realizes that they're the actual owners of that. All the credit goes to someone else who just shouldn't get it all. Or like with AI art, but a lot of the reason for this like success right now, it's actually is based off the fraudulent stealing of many other artists who really did work for like the art they made, I mean, it doesn't help that with all these AI art machines or whatever. Okay, it's bad enough that you're taking and stealing other people's artwork, right, to use for your own AI thing. Okay, if it was just like a free developmental kind of experiment kind of thing, it's maybe okay. But problem is people are using this like tech to sell to other like consumers, or people who want that art. Which is just not. It's like you're basically just stealing other people's artwork and making money off of it. Yeah, it's not great, and you didn't even ask for their permission first. At the very least, with something like with music, at the very least, or like ghostwriting, you pay someone to do that stuff for you. Not saying that it's good or ghostwriting is particularly good or anything, but like just for example, at least for ghostwriting you get paid, or songwriting. But like for this art kind of thing, you don't get any mention at all. You just take your artworks, take countless other pieces of art, and then you just sell it to other people and say it's their own. Pretty unfortunate if you ask me. I don't hate art. I don't hate AI art. It's my belief that art can be anything and everything, it's like just because it's made by a AI or a machine or anything doesn't mean it's not art, Like art can be anything and everything you want it to be. That's the beauty of it, to construct it to something only humans can decide and make is a bit too limited for my liking. There's that. And there's also the fact that I've hit myself, I think 3 times in total in this run already, and I should probably stop right now. But whatever. And let's see how this goes and run its course. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. It's not a bad. This has been not a bad episode, honestly. It's far better than the last one at the very least. I didn't get 26. So I probably won't be making a deficit on my diamonds. It's the vampire and history potion. Okay, slide here, jump here. Sometimes I can't tell if it's just lagging or if it's just my mind just playing games with me again, Just odd. Okay, 1, 2, there we go. There we go. 10th place. Not too bad, huh? Cool. Well, this is our comrades for today. Take a look at them, say thank you, hello, and goodbye. Thanks for watching and love ya.